So it's always difficult being like trying to share something inspirational or positive and then having people kind of infiltrate on that by inserting their opinions, their judgments, their commentary. Just like, if you don't resonate with the content, just scroll past it. You don't have to offer your 2 cents or anything like that. And I get it. We have this notion that this is a free world. Social media is unregulated and you can just offer your opinions and stuff. But sometimes you take away from the message by inserting negativity, especially against your own people. And we do it so many times in the Black community. And this is why other cultures and other races and other people make a mockery of us, because we slander ourselves and each other online and think that it's funny or think that we're proving a point or making an example. And it's just unnecessary sometimes. And yes, I am referring to the video that my husband just put out. It was a lot for him to even make that video. So it took a lot for him to even be comfortable sharing this, and not out of embarrassment, but because being vulnerable on social media always comes with backlash, and he didn't want to deal with the backlash. But he also wanted to, as he said in the video, pay it forward as somebody who is still healing, still progressing, and still learning how to put his emotions in the proper place and insert them and express them in certain ways. He was literally just trying to, leave a little olive branch for the next man who has moments. Even if you have a safe space, sometimes we just need to have a moment. And I will elaborate a little bit on my part in this whole debacle, because it seems to be that everybody's trying to find something. And I'm going to clear up the somethings for those of you who just can't just be happy for other people or just let people be inspirational without you inserting your negativity. So pause. So to be very clear, when the situation had transpired, my husband and I were having a conversation that was a little bit real about our life, what we were doing, what our plans were, what was next, blah, blah, blah. And us just getting everything out on the table overwhelmed him. And typically in our past, we've known each other for almost 20 years. When he has his moments, he likes to be left alone. So I don't go running after him. I did it in the past and it always backfired. It always escalated our arguments. So in this moment, I knew that it was heavy, and I could tell by his energy because I know my husband, and I just let him have his moment. So when I saw and heard him leave and, go outside, I was like, okay, he's having a moment. As long as he doesn't get in the car, because that's our rule, you can have your moment. And he had his moment. At the time, I was doing my housewife duties, folding up clothes, and after I heard the first explosive moment, I immediately went and stopped, because I heard enough to be like, okay, 5 seconds was too long. He's going to tip over the edge. And surely enough, I stopped him in the middle of his rage moment, because he had reached his peak and it had spilled over onto a place where neither of us anticipated it going. And had I not stopped him at the moment that I did, it would have been a whole lot worse. I also have to insert and say that I am very much so a hippie style wife. I am 100% feel your feelings, don't stay there. But I am never going to stifle my children or my husband, and they don't allow me to not feel your feelings. So in that moment, I knew that he needed to release, because he had been carrying and holding on to so much. Just like most of the world right now, we are all enduring something. And because he is I have to figure it out, I'm going to do, you just chill, I got this. Sometimes that ego gets you into a place as a man where things just spill over and there's not enough room, there's not enough safe space for you to express yourself. So in this moment, I was like, this is his moment to release it and get it out, so he doesn't have to carry it anymore, because just talking about it for some men isn't enough. They need to physically release it. Working out, boxing, they just need to release, because they're not women. They don't just talk. In this situation, again, I knew that he needed to release, because we have been talking. He has opened up. I know more about my husband than his parents do, his best friends back in the past, his own brother, because we've spent a lot of time together over these almost 20 years. So I know things about him and things that he doesn't have to express to me. And one of those things is, when I need space, give me space. And I knew after about 2 minutes that, okay, this is a little bit too much space. And that's when I had to insert myself, which allowed him to collapse on the floor and cry it out for however long we were on the floor. And that's when the adrenaline died down and we saw that we needed to go to the emergency room immediately. I think the problem with women in general, no matter your skin color, is we want to control how men release their feelings. We want them to talk to us. We want them to do it in a controlled setting, in a calm setting. And most men are not talkers. Most men are not going to articulate their feelings in the way that makes sense to women. And after spending most of the beginning part of our marriage trying to control how my husband articulated, compartmentalized, expressed, and shared his emotions, and it backfired multiple times because that just wasn't his release style, I think that it put me in a space to allow him to explore his emotions. And in that moment, that was him exploring his emotions in a healed state, in a safe space. And it was safe because I was there to stop him before it got too crazy. But he got it out enough where he was able to come to his senses and realize, like, I took it a little bit too far. And before the aunties come into my DMs saying, well, you're saying you agree with, no, I'm not saying that I agree with any type of explosive behavior, but I'm not his God. I'm not going to tell him how he needs to express himself. No, my husband is not a violent person. He is extremely peaceful, which is why it is absolutely insane that people want to judge and comment. He is a very peaceful person. If y'all should be coming at anybody, if I was the one that did that, I would take all of the, I'm a Taurus, okay? I have explosive moments, or had explosive moments. Now I just shut down and go cry in the room by myself. But, I get it. I get the desire to want to release what you have bottled up, because we're all humans and our release love language varies. So do marriages. You can't expect everybody to govern their release style the way you do, because I ain't you. Truth be told, my moment, we're going through a lot, okay? We've literally been nomads for almost a year in just a few days, maybe 2 days. And we're still trying to figure things out. Granted, we are in a semi-safe space where, we're not out on the street. But this environment is not an environment that we want to be in, period and point blank. So we are working on getting ourselves back to a place where all of us are thriving, because our kids are feeling it. We're feeling it. And the fact that we are forced to just smile and only create positive content is absurd. So we just wanted to share a very real moment with you. I've had my moment. I was hysterically crying and screaming into that pillow back there. And it didn't make it to the gram because there was no phones out. But guess what? I've had my moment too. You're allowed to have your moment. Calm down. The moral of the story is, y'all, we're fine. We're healthy. We're safe. Nobody was injured except for my husband. He has a safe